All righty. Well, today we are going to be talking with Pete Middleton with the Pete Middleton real estate team down in San Diego. And they are everything luxury listings down in the San Diego area. And that's why we're bringing him on today. We wanted to talk with him about breaking into the luxury listing market, a little bit about who he is and how long he's been in the business and what it looks like to be in the luxury listing real estate business down in the San Diego area. I know that everything in the luxury listing world is a real hot commodity right now, especially on reality TV. And since this is something that Pete does on an everyday deal, this is what he does. We've got Andrea team on there. Hi.
How are you?
Good. So let me see here. I'm going to add Pete's name up here to the top. So I was just welcoming everyone to the live stream. Everything luxury. We were just talking about that, in today's world, people all over the world are watching reality TV about luxury listings, right? And Southern California has like a lot of eyes on it. And I know Pete is down in the San Diego area, has a full team. Yeah. Why don't you, you're Andrea, correct?
Yes. So Pete's going to hop on. He's just wrapping up a call. So
that's fine. No problem. Why
sure
don't you, since you know Pete really well, why don't you do the introduction of Pete? Tell us a little bit about him and who he is, and then we'll have him come right on and switch chairs with you.
All right, awesome. Yeah, so Pete has been in real estate for almost 30 years. He started in Massachusetts with his family and his family's brokerage. Moved to San Diego, California in his early 20s. Started with Remax, and he grew very quickly in the industry. He's been in La Jolla now for 27 years. He's amazing. One of the most incredible people I've ever had the opportunity to work with. So I'm very blessed for that. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's had a super successful career, and I know that he's super excited to come on and talk with you guys.
Oh, I'm so excited to have him. And, I met Pete in Dallas, Texas at the Build conference in 2021.
Yep.
I was fairly new to real estate, but not new to growing a business. So I've been an insurance broker for 26 years, and I expanded into real estate.
Oh, nice.
When I heard the EXP business model, I was like, oh my gosh, you mean I could be like a broker from day one and start growing my business as an agent? Yeah. It was mind blowing. And then to go to like the Build conference and meet someone like Pete. I'm a person of faith, and I just, when you connect with people, there's thousands of people in the room, but the guy up on the stage, it just is so personable. And there's just that presence about him that makes him easy to connect with, and that desire to help. So that's why I wanted to reach out with him today. And I thought, gosh, I'm growing my organization. I'm up near Sacramento area. And the luxury market, I'm from the Monterey. I lived in Pebble Beach on 17 Mile Drive, so I know a little bit about luxury.
Yeah.
And I know that the market is different. It's different than, at the end of the day, we're still selling homes, right?
Right.
And there's also commercial business that EXP does now. But, EXP and luxury, how does that kind of go together? And that's some of the things that I wanted to talk with Pete about, especially so excited to hear that 27 years in La Jolla area, being so well established, growing a huge, presence in the area. What in the world would have made him open to even moving to EXP, and that's the kind of thing that this company, it's different, and it's about empowering.
Absolutely. That's one of the great things about EXP is it doesn't matter if you're connected or not. Everybody comes from a place of giving, right? And helping. So that was one of the big things for him as well, because he loves to help everybody. always. So
Right.
with the model, with EXP, he has the ability to do that. So,
And I think that that's one of the best things that I ran across was in the insurance world, it was very similar. I would be at a meeting or sitting with fellow professionals, and some people were really closed off. So they were asking like regional, like carrier reps would come in and they would talk to a large group of people or give information. But then everybody was like, had their notes, or they didn't want to they didn't even want to ask questions because they
right.
didn't want to reveal that they might not know something, or that they aren't aware that something was available. And I've just always been a straight shooter. I mean, I know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know. And the only way that I'm going to get better is by learning from others, by being open-minded. And so I would always be the one that raised my hand and said, well, what about X, Y, and Z? And then afterwards, what I found was other agents would migrate towards me and they'd be like, what are you doing for this or that? Because what they found was that I was willing to be vulnerable. I was willing to be open. And there's a need for that, not just in real estate, but all professions across, right? Is to just be transparent. And I think that was the key for me on this business model, is even Pete's willingness to coordinate a schedule to be able to have this call with us today. I talked with, other people that have 10,000 people as part of their organization. They're not part of my downline or my networking connections.
Right.
But with EXP, we're all connected. It's one brokerage. And that feel is definitely here. It's not just people saying it, it's actually living it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. We've definitely connected with a lot of people that are not in our organization either. I mean, they're with EXP, but they're not in our line, or we call it our organization. And I mean, everybody shares everything. It's incredible. It's really amazing.
It
Because
is.
I've worked at a lot of different brokerages myself, and you just didn't have that,
So are you I know that you help with marketing and everything in the office. I know that you're like the right hand gal there. You're also a licensed agent.
I am, yes.
Okay. And how long have you been in real estate?
18 years.
Okay. So did you start with Pete at another organization? Did you come over to EXP with him, or how'd that happen?
No, I didn't. I actually, I started my career in Connecticut, and I worked with a mega team out there at a smaller brokerage, William Ravis, and we were the #1 team in New England. And I was with that team up until I moved to Miami, and I obviously left them. I wasn't practicing real estate in Connecticut anymore. I was licensed in Florida, and I was doing some transactions down there. Kind of took a little bit of a break, but decided, Miami's not really my thing, and I like the West Coast. So I moved over to San Diego. I met Pete, and I was friends with Pete for a long time before I actually came over to EXP. But he had joined EXP prior to me, and he just gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. And I saw the benefit and the opportunity with the model, and I decided.
And the rest is history. There you are. So how long have you been with EXP now?
2 years.
2 years. Okay. You mentioned something. So you're actually in the luxury market yourself, right? And I know my experience from luxury comes from everything I've seen on TV, right? Like, especially during the shutdown, I watch all the different shows, and there seems to be this thing with the East Coast to the Florida, Miami thing, right? And then you've also got like the LA, Beverly Hills, San Diego, La Jolla. So obviously these are areas that are higher end properties. They're oceanfront. These are where people all around the world want to come. So this must have something to do also with building up a clientele for clients that are in that market, right? So it's really who you know too, right?
It's absolutely who you know, right? Yeah. So I know when I first got into it, I was 20 years old when I first got licensed, and I immediately connected myself with a top producing luxury agent.
Like bulleted sheets.
That was the one thing that kind of took my career off. Because I put my ego aside and I said, I need to learn from somebody. I'm not going to learn it on my own.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, absolutely. That's how you kind of break in to the luxury market. At least that's how I did.
Sure. So breaking in is partnering with someone who's already in the market because they have the connections.
Like connections, and then they introduce you to people, and those people introduce you to other people, and it's all about networking, right?
Okay. Very
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the number one thing and the theme that I see to EXP Realty is it is networking. So this is some people have asked me, well, isn't that like a scheme or a scam or whatever? And I said, no, it's actually
the Ponzi scheme. Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, no, that's illegal and we're publicly traded. So
Yeah.
I really look at it more as each one reach one. It's one of those true social and business marketing networks. So it is about connecting people to the end user, right? So from real estate agents, we are sharing this business model because we see how it works with other real estate agents, because that would be the end user for a brokerage, right? So our platform and our business model, we want to share that with other agents. And then from the production side, at the end of the day, we still do real estate.
Exactly.
So
that other side doesn't work if you're not doing both, right?
That's right.
It's not gonna work.
Right.
So,
And a lot of the conversations I've had is how to balance that. So how have you found balancing agent attraction? And you guys work as a team. So you guys are like my first team that I have been interviewing with.
okay.
And I've interviewed with a lot of solo entrepreneurs that have the mindset where they want to grow and add other people.
Yes.
So that's one of the things I really wanted to talk to Pete about today was being part of a team. And since you're on his team, what does that mean to you, and how does that kind of fit into the equation?
So in regards to, kind of doing both, I live and die by my schedule. I am very scheduled.
Okay.
If it's not in my schedule, it doesn't exist. So, I mean, that's how I keep the balance, right? I time block, and I have certain periods of time where I focus on agent attraction, and I will call people and agents that I've worked with in the past, friends of mine that are agents, and just connect. I try not to shove EXP down everybody's throat, even though I'm so excited about it, and I just want to scream it from mountaintops and tell everybody how wonderful it is. But that's also, networking. So it's the same thing as being a luxury agent when you're also doing agent attraction, except you're networking with a different group of people. Now you're networking with more agents and building relationships that way. Because people want to work with people that they trust and that they know. So that's kind of the balance there, where you really have to make sure that it's part of your schedule, and you live by your schedule and what's in there.
Sure. So really to keep balance and to do production and to also do agent attraction and all the different, right? Because they all provide a revenue stream for us, right?
Yeah.
One is a production. It's I don't want to say it's one and done, because we do have repeat business, but that next transaction could be 2, 3, 5, 10 years down the road, right? So we have the production side, but then we also have the passive streams that we're working on building those passive streams.
Yes.
And I know that for me, that's one of the most attractive things. And I had an interview with an agent that we brought on in Utah, that was the number one thing was future earnings. So she saw the ability to build her personal wealth, her wealth for her family and future earnings. And that was like one of the number one most important things to her. And she mentioned the stocks, and in a time when everybody's like, oh, the stocks are crazy, everything's crashing or whatever, she's like, if you understand stocks and investment, that's a long-term player, right? Exactly. So we don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket, and we want to have this portfolio, whether it's we have passive income from maybe some rental properties. So we have that stream that's coming in. So
Yep.
you can invest in real estate, invest in stocks, invest in different things. But to have a company that provides all of those streams for you, and there's no additional like you don't have to be at this level in order to have access to this or that. It's like
Right.
everyone right from the beginning has the same, you're all in the same place.
Exactly.
And,
It's a level playing field for everybody.
that's right. And then one of the things that we talked about too is I said, sharing the opportunity with her was great. And that helps me, right, to grow my passive revenue stream. But it doesn't take anything away from her. It actually helps her because now she's part of this network that is supportive. She didn't do social media. She doesn't know how to do any of all this stuff. And she's like, I know how to market houses, but I've never marketed myself or felt the need for it really, right?
Right.
But our whole world is different. We're doing everything and connecting. And I think the biggest thing, especially in the luxury market, I don't know, you tell me, but now this presence of being online,
Yep.
you are able to attract, I would assume, not just agents that are interested, but clients from Hong Kong, from Australia, from Dubai. I mean, we are global.
Exactly.
And by being part of EXP, you now have an opportunity to market and network with those buyers that are in other places.
Exactly. And those agents that are in other places and building, agent relationships for referrals. Because you never know where your buyers are coming from, right? They come from all over the place.
Right.
So having those connections all over the place is important. So that's us being global and in so many different countries, it's huge. It's huge.
Would you say from your experience in the other agencies that you've worked at from, I believe you said it was in New England and then in the Florida marketplace and then now where you're at, and then now having come over to EXP, would you say you have more access, like more visibility or more freedom to work with and find additional clientele, or did some of these other companies provide the same thing, or was it more limited? I don't know because I don't have a lot of experiences with other agencies.
Right.
I was fortunate enough to just kind of stumble upon this 6 weeks into having my license.
Oh, you're lucky. No, I definitely do feel that I have more access here.
Okay.
I was with Coldwell Banker, I was with Keller Williams, and then I was with a couple little small brokerages when I was in Miami, and I can definitely tell the difference here, just with all of it. I think a lot of it has to do with the way that the model is and how connected our agents are, where everybody kind of feels more free to share, right? Where it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was tough networking with agents in my office when I was at other brokerages. Because everybody's kind of secretive and they didn't want to share their tools and how they did things and whatnot. Where here, it's like an open book. Like, here, this is what we do.
Exactly. Right now, sharing. Yeah. So I am just, my mind is being blown right now. I was thinking about a friend of mine that is part of an agency, and she's a different agency. She's an incredible producer, and I know that they will do whatever it takes to keep her where she is. Did you ever experience that where maybe like you as an agent felt like maybe some of the other agents had access, or maybe some more, bells and whistles that they had available to them because of who they,
Yep, I definitely saw that in other companies where the agents that were, like the top producing agents, and I was with one of those teams because I'm the director of operations, so I was the director of operations for another team at another brokerage, and we definitely had a sweeter deal.
Yeah.
So, and that's not how it works here, right? We're all the same. Let me know, all right?
And that's, I've always felt like you have to be on the inside, in a traditional business you have to be on the inside, and it's not always what you know, but who you know, and making sure you have that connection. And that's when I stumbled upon EXP's business model, and I realized that, well, wait a minute. You mean I have access to all of this? And we all start like the people that were migrating, I think in droves, were brokers who understood the business model, right?
Right.
So like an agent that is with someone and maybe they have 8 to 10 transactions a year, this maybe was not like what they were looking at, because they maybe they're making a higher percentage right out of the gate, or maybe they felt like they needed to be part of a team and learn things because they or they're just wanting to do it part-time or whatever. Like I know that some people said, that's EXP is not necessarily for me. Like they see the business model, they go, that's not for me. And I think to myself, how could it not be for every single agent? Like
it's for everybody. It's for everybody. It's for all the people, whether you want to be your individual agent on your own, whether you want to join a team, whether you're a broker. I mean, for the brokers, it's a no-brainer, right? I mean,
right.
All the liability off of you.
Right.
Why?
And that's what the real kicker was for me. So I actually thought maybe I just didn't understand what other brokerages are offering people, because I know business and I know about insurance brokerages and I know about people not sharing. I know about even within a broker, people competing against one another.
Yeah.
And I know that kind of environment for a broker, they're going to put that carrot out there. They want you to go and tackle it and bring, you know what I mean? They like that sense of competition. It does well for them. This brokerage had the mindset that I have in business and in life, and I'm a person of faith, is you can't outgive God, right? So like if you are a giver and it is coming from pure and integrity, you got to work hard, right? But you work hard and you are a giver, you can never outgive, because what ends up happening is it comes back tenfold. So when there is an environment that is, it breeds a collaboration. It gives each person an opportunity to. I was in Dallas. I was standing down there talking with Glenn Sanford. I mean, CEO, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And then like Pete, right? I was sitting across him and a few people were sitting at dinner one night, and I was meeting. I had to my niece lives in Dallas, and I was meeting with her and now fiance. I figured that was coming, so I wanted to have a night with them for dinner. And they live in the Dallas area. And in fact, I was trying to say, because he was kind of in transition with jobs and he is in sales and marketing. I was like, you need to be a real estate agent, you know? And so I was kind of having that conversation with him. And then across the room, I see Pete there, having dinner. And it's one of those things where it's not like just being on the inside. As soon as you're a part of EXP, you are on the inside.
Exactly.
And you do have access. But it's not going to hit you over the head. You do have to get engaged, right?
Exactly. Yes.
There's a level of participation. So I know that there's been some people who have said to me, oh yeah, I heard about it, but my friend, they said that there was just no support. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I guess I look at it like a franchise, right? You go to a million Starbucks and they're all the same. They've got a clean bathroom, they make the drinks, but then you come to one maybe and their bathroom is just a mess and the people don't know how to make the drinks. I mean, you can have a brand and you can have something that's supposed to work a certain way, but depending on where you tap in, that could make all the difference in the world, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that sometimes I've shared with people that it may just be they didn't ask for the help that they needed and didn't realize that they have resources beyond just who they came into EXP with, right? So we have sponsors, but you can have as much out of this with networking that you want.
And learning how to use the tools that EXP provides, right? Because you have enterprise, you have the world, you have the university, and it's, sometimes you have to figure out where those items are. I mean, usually it's pretty easy because EXP does send an email out, but you got to read the email. And click on the links that you're supposed to click on, but everything's at your fingertips, right? All the tools that you need to succeed are here and provided to you, and it's using the tools, right?
Yeah, I talked with somebody who said, I just like to be able to go into an office and talk to the person and ask, and then have them tell me what to do, and then I'm able to do it. I feel more connected. And I think to myself, well, when I go into an office and ask somebody what to do, I'm taking notes because I don't want to forget anything that they say. I heard what they said, but then now when I'm able to go back and implement it, or do my deep dive into what it is that I was, being shared, I'm still going to stumble upon the same things that I'm going to stumble upon. I may even have forgotten one thing that I wrote down. So you brought up a great point. You get sent right to your email. You do have to read the email. You have to click on the link, and then they go step by step on the procedure. And then, so what I guess what I really found is that some people like the hand holding. And I've told people, you know what? I love holding hands. Give me a call when you're going through that. I can walk you through. A lot of it is just people need to be empowered and encouraged that they're on the right track, right?
Exactly.
And they don't know what they don't know, right?
Right.
So it can be overwhelming. Like when I was just talking with Jocelyn, she's a 16-year veteran, just came over, and she's like, she's like, well, what I realize is it's a learning curve. And so I have to go in there. It is a lot all at once, but if you just start going step by step by step. But she's also a visionary and sees everything that it can do. So she's wanting to get involved in all of the things at the same time, which you can be sharing the opportunity while you're still learning how to use KV Core.
Right. Absolutely.
Right?
1,000%.
And that's that transparency and being able to help other people. Well, I don't know how is.
I'm going to snag him because I think he's so close, but I feel like I'm taking up his whole interview.
All right, so we'll wait there for Pete to come and join us. Obviously Pete has surrounded himself with just incredible people, and that's the other benefit I have found is that agent attraction is you can attract people that you want to work with, right? So here.
Yeah.
Are they recording?
Oh yeah.
Hi, Hayley.
Hi, Pete. How are you?
Good. Sorry, I was just finishing up a call. Let me get my jacket on so I look more formal.
So you look more official?
Yeah, official and formal.
Got it. Well, I really appreciate you taking this time. And Andrea was just amazing. Is it Andrea or Andrea? Andrea. Okay, perfect. It actually was great because she gave us a history about you and kind of where you started and how long you've been there in the La Jolla, 27 years in that marketplace.
Yes.
So really today's interview was about everything luxury, right? So it's kind of a hot commodity right now. Everyone across the globe is tuning in to reality TV, and it just I'm sure there's lots of agents out there between the ages of 18 and 24 who are like, I want to do that. I want that to be my life. But this is something you do every day and have been doing for a long time. So what is it really about breaking into the luxury real estate market? If there's agents out there today who have said, hey, that's what I'd like to do.
I think that's a great question. A lot of agents do ask that. How do I break in? How do I get a start in the luxury market? A lot of times in these types of transitioning markets that we're in right now, my first recommendation would be to join up with a team or a group that already has success, right? That's the easiest path to break in because they have a track record. And a lot of times these agents don't have track records. So you need the logistics behind you, you need the data behind you, and you need the track record behind you in order to get some momentum, right? We see a lot of agents trying to get into it. And listen, you can certainly do it on your own. It'll take a little bit longer. My tip to them would be go and make really sincere relationships with the agents that are doing the majority of the business in the areas you want to be in. Get to know them, take them to lunch, pick their brain, tell them how awesome they are, and create that relationship and ask them if you could be a resource to them by helping them hold those houses open or help them any way possible so that you can get your foot in the door. And then what you do is hold those houses open and get your signs out there, because a lot of people don't know the difference between a for sale sign, a sold sign, an open house sign, a for rent sign. They don't know. They just want to see your name over and over and over. And you just have to be consistent with getting your name out there. If you do that, you will slowly break in. But you have to be committed. You have to do it consistently, and you have to keep working on your trade craft.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. Great advice. And of course, since you've been in the marketplace for a while, you've got a tried and true record. You know, agent attraction, right? So EXP, I was so fortunate that I was only 6 weeks licensed and I stumbled upon the business model. Coming from an insurance brokerage from 26 years, I understand passive income. I understand how to build a business. And I realized right away, wow, so maybe my client is not necessarily buyers and sellers, but my client is other real estate agents, because I love to coach. I love to educate, equip, and empower people. But honestly, how am I going to do that to a group of real estate agents if I've never been a real estate agent? So I really just was fortunate to be a part of it, came in, and for 2 years, I just became this producer, because at the end of the day, I love sales and marketing and I love production. And I didn't use any of my resources, like my people that I knew, right? So I took like that Grant Cardone effect of like, how do I do it without using anything that I've already, like a leg up with my current existing book of business. And what I found was, man, just social media, being out there and connecting. You have to get in front of the people. They shut the whole nation down. I was planning on doing open houses for tons of people. And now all of a sudden there's no open houses. I was like, now what? But being a person of faith, I just believe that every trial makes you stronger. It prepares you for the next step so that you're lacking in nothing. So I said, okay, Lord, obviously you're just trying to make me better. So what am I supposed to learn from this, and how am I supposed to grow? And apparently this has been a crazy 2 years in the business. I've seen things and people said, oh, well, you're just lucky you got in at the right time. And I was like, I've heard other people say that. But, at the end of the day, when there's 30 offers and my offer's getting accepted over 29 other offers, there must be something to that, right? So there's a skill set, and it doesn't matter when you come to the business, is what I believe, is that you have to learn your craft and you have to learn from other people, like what you had said. That's why I was so grateful to be a part of EXP right from the start, because I was able to talk to not just 1, 2, 3 brokers that have been in the business for years, multiple people from across the nation. And then I've always been a global thinker. I have an agent in Cabo San Lucas. And I'm like, he was my Uber driver, and I kept connection with him. His car was totaled. And I said, he was very personal. I said, have you ever thought about real estate? So it's making connections, and it's being out there and being willing to grow and learn from other people. But people like yourself, Pete, you've built a team. Now I don't have a team. So I said, well, I'm not going to have a team. I'm going to be an entrepreneur, and I'm going to look for other entrepreneurial mindsets. And I'm going to share this business opportunity with them, because I want them to be able to grow, and we'll be part of an organization. We're part of the same network, because I want a whole bunch of other people to be able to do what I'm doing. And what I found is I have had the support and the team environment just within our organization. But then I crossed over. I'm an adoptee into the Honey Badgers. And so I've learned and grown with them. And then you taking this interview with me today, I feel connected. And I've been following you on social media since the 2021 Build Conference. First of all, because I love San Diego. And secondly, watching your team and what you've got an incredible team. And so I wanted you to speak a little bit about the benefits of having a team, what that does in the luxury market, because I can see to where that would be very useful. And then how many of your team actually has other professions? Like, do you have people on staff that are your videographers, and or are these licensed agents? Like, so how are you surrounding and growing your team, and what does that look like?
I think that's a great question. There's a lot of layers there. I mean, you can run a team a lot of different ways. Most luxury teams are typically six agents or less, I think, because it creates a tighter dynamic. Mine's a little bit bigger because I love helping people and winning through others. That's my big thing, is the more you put out there, the more it comes back to you. And I want to help train the next generation of great agents who are looking to make this their profession, their career, and to really knock it out of the park. So that's a big thing with us on what we do. Having a team can really help you with your scheduling and your time and how you leverage things. And we all help each other in a lot of different ways. I usually have team members helping me as showing agents on listings and helping with meeting contractors or meeting home inspectors or termite inspectors or any of those types of things. But in return, you got to give to get. I put them in winning opportunities. So what I mean by that is they'll have first shot at doing the open houses, and we do our open houses a certain way, but we all win as a team. So that's how we function, and that's how we try to celebrate each one of us and what we're doing. The team's core is really your staff. And I believe that starts with your right-hand person. So if you're going to start a team, tip number one, don't start with agents. Start with your right-hand administration assistant and get somebody who's really good at the things that either you don't want to focus on or that isn't your strong suit, right? If it's, write down your weakest strengths and make sure that that person, that's their biggest strengths, and give it on to them and give them the opportunity to really flourish and thrive and take ownership of it. You got to put people in other ownership positions in order to remove yourself. That's Absolutely. The best way to put it. So, teams and luxury are a little bit different because I'm not knocking regular real estate. I've done all of it. And I don't even typically like using the word luxury as it separates, because we do all aspects of real estate, right? We do investment, we do condos, we do luxury homes, we do regular homes, we do investments, 1031 exchanges, you name it, we do it. Right? Because we want to be a resource to all of our clients and our clientele where it's a one-stop shop. However, when it does come down to luxury, you have to all be on the same page. You have to know what you're trying to do and who you're trying to service. And a lot of the people in the luxury space are very sophisticated and they expect certain things. So you have to all be on the same page when acknowledging how luxury works and how your system's going to work.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Something that you had said was your weakest strength. And I think in hearing you speak in Dallas, when you were talking to, thousands of people out in the crowd, I was sharing with Andrea that there's something about you that, makes that connection. And just that terminology of weakest strength is that, like, people have skill sets and they can do it, but it might not be their number one thing. You can be great at a lot of things, but the more you start spreading yourself out, some of those are weaker strengths that you have. And it's a positive thing, not just your weakness, right? It's a weaker strength. I like just how you frame things, how you speak to people, how you encourage people. Was one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on as one of my initial interviews. First of all, because I think the luxury marketplace is very relevant today, just because there's so many eyes on it, thanks to reality TV and not a lot out at the movie theaters right now. So I think that, there's a space there that people wonder about. And I just want to help empower people and bring that kind of information out to fellow real estate agents. At the end of the day, obviously, I'm growing my organization. I would love to have a luxury team up here. It's funny because you think Sacramento is their luxury. There are luxury homes here, and we've got a pretty broad marketplace too. So it's not just all in one area. It may not be the ocean, but we have things that are along the river and things like that. So people like to diversify. They like to have a spot in different places. And I do know there's a lot of people from Southern California that come up to the state capitol and they want to have a spot to call home while they're here. And sometimes that, those connections are super important. But we attract what we put out. And so, yeah, so that's why, I mean, meeting Andrea today and then following up with you on a one-on-one has been it's been a pleasure. And I just wanted to ask in closing, with EXP business model, Andrea and I spoke a lot about it and how we found, that all of the benefits. But you've had a long history of different things, and you with all of your experience and being luxury, how does EXP's name go hand in hand with luxury? Because, I've heard that. They're like, well, where's the name recognition? I'm like, okay, 81,000 agents and we're global. Where's the name recognition? I don't know. You tell me, right? But like I went to school at Stevenson over in Pebble Beach, lived on 17 Mile Drive. I have a lot of friends that are real estate agents over there. And I'm thinking, why aren't you all in EX? Like the connection that we could make and the growth that we could do would be incredible. But it's one of those areas that's hard to break into, and it's hard to share that. And there's this whole thing with branding in the name. So can you explain to me how you were able to embrace the EXP business model and still be a luxury top producer down there?
Yeah, no, it's a good question because I come across that a lot, and a lot of people have a lot of concerns about that. Luxury is a mindset. It's a mindset. It's a lifestyle. It's how you conduct yourself. It's how you dress, how you talk, how you walk, and how you live. And it is relationship based. So what I mean by that is I don't focus so much on whether EXP is or isn't a luxury so-called brand. Maybe when I first arrived, the collateral wasn't there, or some of the marketing. I do honor that, but that's changing, right? And a lot of these people, I always ask them one question. I always say, hey, listen, let me ask you a quick question. So when you go into a listing, are the people interviewing you, or are they interviewing your broker? And if you didn't have the brokerage behind you, would that mean that you wouldn't ever get a listing or get business? Because we do business with people who we like, who we trust, who we relate to, who are authentic, who are honest, who have integrity, right? And a lot of times people don't know a heck of a lot about a brand. The brand's just the shield. And I think that's changing how people look at brands and so forth. I'm not saying that certain brands don't have some worth. I believe they do. But we're coming. And it's a process. And when I first arrived, a lot of people didn't know anything about EXP, but I was kind of a trailblazer and I believed in it, and I listened to my own intuition and I manifested it. How about that? That's you gotta manifest what you want. And it was something that really allowed me to drive it and to create it based on what I wanted it to be. And that's what I express to people. I put together my own presentations and so forth. And I know a lot of people may not want to hear that, but we're always striving to get better. And so in the presentation part of it, or the collateral part, and that's all coming, because I believe all the agents will eventually come, because they're going to get sick and tired of continuously paying nonstop. And they're going to hit a point where they're going to feel either burnout or compromise, or not feel that they're getting ahead. And when I first arrived at EXP, I'll be the first to admit, I had a lot of anxiety. When you're a trailblazer or an outlier, you're going to have some anxiety. And I remember that day when I had to call 24 high-end listings, and I called all 24 and said, look, I need to have a discussion with you. I made a change with my brokerage. Let me share the ways that's going to help you with our technology and exposure globally, and what it allows me to do for you and so forth. And 22 out of the 24 sellers said, well, we don't even know who we were listed with before. As long as we have you, we're all set. Just send us the paperwork. So it really didn't matter. And that was proof right there that it's not always about the brokerage. It's more about the agent's business and relationships with the clients, and how they communicate, how authentic they are, and how consistent they are with servicing their clients and friends' needs. That's a big, big thing.
Absolutely. And, you know, Pete, I see you as driven as taking care of the people that you work with. So the people that you work with, which are your clients, and the people that work around you and with you, right? So there had to have been something about the EXP business model that, like you said, a trailblazer, right? That you knew that in order to position your client in the best possible way for the, you know, for exposure to buyers, not just locally or maybe from the East Coast moving to the West Coast, but literally a global platform. Is this one of the main things that you, I mean, for me, it's the light, right? Like all these things start firing and you're like, wow, this is global. I just opened up. I have no territories. I have no restrictions. And I just hit the lottery for not myself, but my clients are going to benefit from this.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of like, I could see where I could overcome a brand in any place when it's providing so much more, because people do buy people. But there are a few of those people out there that may say, well, you know, this is known as the, you know, international brand or whatever. And there, like you said, there is some worth to that. But is that something that you saw as a visionary with EXP, that you would actually be positioning your clients in a better space?
Yes, I believe that. And I believe that it gave me more control on how I did my marketing and ran my business within the brokerage, where I was restricted in some points before with some of the other brokerages I was with. It also allowed me way more creativity, right? Mm-hmm. Because I'm powering or generating the direction to market my clients' properties and getting it out there, because now we're on a global scale. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to be confined to areas or state lines or country lines. I wanted to really get out there and break out to the masses, because you never know where a buyer can come from nowadays. And look, everything you want in life is just outside your comfort zone. It's never going to be comfortable making a breakthrough or getting through a shift. And I always believe of visualizing and manifesting not only what I want, but what's best for my clientele and where everything is going. I want to get out in front of the trends. I want to get out in front of what's happening, get way out in front of how the market is transitioning. And right. If you can get out there first, it's a huge advantage. And I believe when I saw EXP, that's what it was to me. It resonated with me very quickly. Once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. And it was something that I said, this is what I've been looking for to really take this globally and really put my clients in the best position to win. So that was a big thing. I'm not saying there wasn't growing pains on the way. There always is. You know, greatness doesn't happen overnight. And there were times that, you know, maybe I didn't get a listing because the seller had a previous relationship with one of those companies, or transferred and used their transfer protocol or relocation company. Right. And, you know, I get it. It makes sense in that manner. But as more and more great agents and luxury teams come over, you can't deny it. We're building a network where everybody's in collaboration and contribution. And that was really a big thing that I was thirsting for, because I didn't want the people around me to always act as if they would share with me when they really weren't. They were truly in competition with me, and we weren't collaborating or contributing necessarily on a deep level due to the fact that they weren't being compensated. Now that changes it. And it sounds so easy, but the simplest things are the hardest to develop. The hardest things are the easiest to develop. And you have to look at it and say, okay, where are things trending to? How do I get out there first and foremost? And how is that going to benefit all of my clients? And how is it going to benefit my business and how I structure and where I'm going with it? So those were the things that resonated with me right off the bat. And I had anxiety like any other agent. I'll be the first to admit that. And there was definitely some growing pains getting used to it initially, but I feel, and this is just my feeling, it's the biggest no-brainer ever. I look at it as a gift. And it's, I'll never say never, but I believe it's my final stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's those are some really powerful things there that you shared, and absolutely, it sounds like what I hear time and time again is that it's the collaboration, it's the community, and it's the environment. Even if we look at our nation, the more we feel conquered and divided, right? We limit ourselves because we can't move together. We can't work together, and there's brokenness. And so we all are experiencing that, right? So when you look at a workplace in an environment that normally is the same way, where people guard their information or they're cordial to you, you're at the same mixer and they're cordial, and you might share a toast or something like that. But at the end of the day, you all go home with your own personal, I wonder about this, or I wonder about that. Should I do this? Should I do that? And you don't really have those open communication, that camaraderie. And EXP just blew that apart. And it says, we're here to help equip one another. It's not about taking away from each other or robbing each other, but it's about building one another up. And I think you hit the nail on the head, and you're not just in the luxury market. Like you said, you do everything real estate because your clients need everything real estate. So we all should have people that are experts in the different areas, and that we know that we can help our client no matter what it is that they want, right? And then that global network, being able to turn someone over, they want to buy something in another country, maybe they want to buy something in Cabo, or somebody that I've had exchange students that are from Hong Kong and Shanghai. And their families, they've stayed in my home. Their families, they're investors. And they're like, Hayley, what should we do? And it's like, wow, because of that connection and being globally minded, we can have that network and that inner working. And it makes everyone better. And we're providing, I believe, a better real estate environment. So it takes away some of the things of, well, my real estate agent said this, or I'm doing what this person says. When there's more collaboration, everyone's getting better service. Everyone, like, we're all being held to a higher accountability, I think, right? Because we're able to be a little bit more transparent, a little bit more vulnerable, and that causes the growth. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate it so much. I just want to tell you as a sidebar, like, one of my most favorite things of following you are your dogs. I know you lost one too. I was actually tore up over that because I'm a dog person, and I really enjoy watching that. And I mean, this is neither here nor there, but I do kind of feel like how people treat animals and how they respond to animals and involve them in their lives is a good indicator that they're good people. So I just really, I want to thank you. I know that you're a good guy out there. You're helping other agents. You're helping people like me. You're helping your clients. You're helping to grow the luxury brand for EXP. And you're, the marketing pieces and what we offer people as an agency, you're helping to make it better. And it's people like you with your experience that is doing that. So I want to thank you for that. So everyone that I know that's getting ready to break into the luxury market and looking for a great place to do it, I'm going to remind them and share this obviously with people out there, is that they need to partner with someone like yourself. So if they're in the San Diego area, in the La Jolla area, and they're looking for someone to partner with, I'm sure that you've got room there, that they can reach out to you. On social media, you are is it the Pete Middleton team?
Yeah, it's Pete Middleton team, and it used to be Pete Knows Real Estate team. I think we still have both going. So
Okay.
yeah, they can look up either Middleton team or Pete Knows Real Estate. It'll be on both things.
Okay, I know that was one of the things that I liked is Pete Knows Real Estate. I kind of, that was a neat thing that I kind of grabbed onto. I was like, yeah, he does. I love
Yeah,
that.
that's one of our slogans. So
All right, well, very good. So thank you so much, and to you and all of your team and staff down there in the San Diego, I wish you well. It's been a blessing to have you on today. I'll send this clip to your team afterwards, so you can also repurpose it and do what you'd like with it. I really appreciate it. And you'll want to watch Andrea earlier. I had some real good communication with her, and it'll be worthy of you taking a look at that one as well. And I appreciate your availability.
yeah, no, thank you so much for having me on, and keep spreading the message. You're doing a great job, and just stay positive and keep pushing forward. That's the main thing. Start every day at zero and organize your day and get out there and try to help people. The more people you help get what they want, you'll automatically get what you want.
Absolutely. Boy, those are words to end it on. That's right. So give, and you can't outgive. It just comes back tenfold.
That's right.
All right. Thank you so much, Pete. Blessings to you.
Thanks, Hayley. Thanks so much. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.